My dear friends, I'm gonna now develop, explore, dive into a subject that I started introducing in the video on Soros. I'm gonna talk about an integral tool that tries to capture all of reality in contrarily to a fragmented view. We want we want to see from different perspectives. We don't want to see just a part of reality. We want to see from different views. Okay? We don't want to. If we take an elephant, okay? We take 10 people and we blind people, 10 blind people, and we put them. They try to guess what they are touching just by touching without seeing it. They try to say what it is. Okay? Someone will touch the leg of the elephant. He will think he is touching a tree. Oh, this is a tree. The other one touching his tails, he will say, oh, this is uh, a banana leaf. The other one touching its nose, he will say, this is a hose of water. The other touches the belly, he will say, I don't know, you get the point, okay? But they are all wrong. But the one who touches from here and from here and from here and from here, he will maybe start to get a better big picture view. You see the whole forest. You don't mistake the forest for the tree. Yeah? And a lot of very, very successful people use that tool in different ways. The name of the tool we can say it is a quadrant, the quadrant, or a 2x2 matrix, or a table. You can call it whatever you want. Okay, this is what it is. It's just a matrix. That's it. We have you know, you certainly heard of billionaire trader Ray Dalio. He is the manager, or was the manager, of the biggest hedge fund in the world, Bridgewater Associates. This is the quadrant that Ray Dalio uses in his trading process. High growth, high inflation. Low growth, high inflation. High growth, low inflation, and low growth, low inflation. He wants at each period have assets that perform well in one of those. That's his way of diversification. He wants to be always protected. This is a really, really powerful tool. A really, really powerful tool. Another one that uses another variation of a quadrant, Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is a billionaire, very powerful man, very powerful. He's a technologist, investor. He ran at some point a hedge fund, but he didn't manage it well. But he is really powerful, very successful, very successful. He is feared. He is feared. By the way, he is also another of the author of A Conspiracy, a true story of power, sex, and a billionaire's secret plot to destroy a media empire. Yeah, he did a conspiracy to destroy someone who hurted him. Someone wrote this about him: pursuit of power. In, in 2012, he did a class at Stanford University. You can find it for free on YouTube, and you can also find the notes of the classes. Just type CS183 Peter Thiel. It's free online. He taught about the mechanics of mafia. He taught to follow the money. He talked about secrets. Now I want to just talk about, I want to show you a quadrant that he uses. This one: optimistic, pessimistic, determinate, indeterminate. When you quote unquote know what the future is gonna be like, and you are optimistic, that's where you go. You do engineering, you do art. And when you are optimistic that stuff will be good for you, but you don't know about the economy, maybe it's gonna be bad, you go to law, finance. That's what I did. When you are pessimistic, indeterminate, you don't know what's gonna happen, you have a feeling that stuff is gonna be bad. Insurance. You pay insurance to protect yourself. And when it's pessimistic, determined, you know that stuff will be bad. Wartime rationing. You start rationing for everything. You spend the less that you can. Okay, this is an integral tool. This is like it captures all of reality, or at least it tries to capture all of reality. You don't see the way, you don't see the world in a fra fragmented manner. Now, this is the another very important framework, quadrant. We have interior or inside, exterior, individual, collective, or singular, plural. In this space, the I space, I, we have attitudes and psyche. We have thoughts, emotions, feelings, right? In the I space, this is what you feel, this is your inner experience. In the interior and collective, culture, communication, morality, morals, right? Language. Okay, now in this quadrant, what do we have in this quadrant? Individual outside, behaviors, competencies. We have, yeah, this is the it quadrant. And this is the we quadrant. And this is its quadrant. In the it quadrant, we have time and space, everything that we can see and touch. Here we have thoughts, emotions, feelings. Here we don't see the emotions, we see a brain. We see uh, brain waves. Brain, okay? For example, in the I space, you have a dream. Let's say you have a dream. Here we can see a dream. Here we see theta brainwaves. There is correlation between all of them, like they interact with each other. Okay, now exterior and the collective. What do we have? Structures, processes, networks, systems, governments. We all are part in all of them. And each of them has their own skills. Yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about today. I hope it uh, it gave you some perspective. Yeah, because it's not as theoretical as it looks. It's really practical. Subjective, intersubjective, objective, interobjective. Thoughts, emotions, memories, states of mind, perceptions, and immediate sensations. Here, shared values, meanings, language, relationships, cultural background. Material body, including brain, visible and measurable behavior, competences and skills. Here, systems, networks, technology, government, and natural environment. Yeah, and each one of them goes through levels of development that I introduced in the video on Soros at the end when I talked about fundamentalism. Yeah, it's the fundamentalism happens at the amber level. This one, the 4. the mythic level. Amber mythic self, mythic order, early nations, agrarian, and the quadrant of life. Okay, this is about consciousness, this is about understanding, this is about having a higher and higher and higher perspective. This is about seeing what no one else sees. This is real, true edge. This is an astonishing discovery. The four principal territories a leader must navigate successfully. Yes, integral investing. And you can apply this to everything, everything you can think about. Let's take let's take gold, for example. Let's say gold. The metal, okay? Gold, the metal. If we see it from, if we see it in this space, it is a molecule or something with atoms, and it has some I don't know the number of new neutrons, electrons, and everything. If we see it in uh, in this space, the we space, maybe it represents wealth. Maybe it represents something bad. I don't know, haram for men to wear. Uh, it represents luxury. Uh, Status, power. Yeah, in different cultures, it may mean something in a culture and something else in another culture. Here in network systems, governments, maybe it represents money. God is money. Everything else is credit. And in this space, the I space, maybe it represents luxury. Yeah, you can apply this to basically everything. Everything. There is nothing you can think about that doesn't have a place in quadrants. So try to use it. Just pick something. And you will see how transformative this can be.
Or quadrants. The integral map begins to build a unified map or framework by noting that every phenomena, everything or event in the universe is a holon, a whole that is part of a larger whole. And each holon can be looked at from at least 4 basic perspectives, or each individual holon has 4 basic dimensions. Now, these are not the 4 drives of agency, communion, eros, and agape. These are 4 basic dimensions to the holon itself. It has an interior and an exterior, a within and a without. And it has a singular form and a plural form, an individual and a collective. Putting these together gives us 4 dimensions or perspectives: the interior of an individual and the exterior of an individual, the interior of a collective or group, and the exterior of a collective or group. We'll be explaining these 4 quadrants in detail because they are truly important ingredients in a reunified map. But let's give a quick example now and simply look at a human being using the 4 quadrants, and you'll see what I mean by their power to unify or integrate or pull pieces together. And remember, we're claiming that all phenomena have these 4 dimensions. So all 4 inherently go together and are inherently unified. Let's start with the interior of the individual organism. If I look within right now, if I introspect, I will see my own interior, and I'll find feelings, thoughts, images, sensations, perceptions, ideas, and so on. In fact, many of the items we have discussed so far, levels, lines, and states, for example, clearly have versions of these in the upper left quadrant, or the interior of the individual. Upper left simply comes from the way we have gotten used to writing down the quadrants. You make a cross in the center of a blank page, giving you 4 quadrants, each representing one of the dimensions we are discussing. The upper 2 dimensions are individual. The lower 2 are collective. The 2 left-handed dimensions are interior. The 2 right-handed are exterior. Thus, the upper left is the interior of the individual holon, whether an atom, an ant, a deer, or a human. Right now, we're discussing humans, but it is important to note that the quadrants go all the way up to, say, ultimate manifest spirit, and all the way down to the subatomic realm, such as individual strings or quarks. Quadrants all the way up and all the way down. This is why understanding these 4 dimensions can help us draw together the nested hierarchy of the entire universe in all its singular glory and all its multifaceted complexity. Each time we look at ourselves through the 4 quadrants, we will gain an important perspective and a great deal of data. Here are a few highlights to demonstrate what's involved. We just mentioned the upper left, the interior of the individual. It is the interior I space, the subjective space, much of which you can introspect. It contains thought, feelings, sensations, perceptions. It also contains the levels of consciousness, from a magenta magic or interrational to turquoise integral, and so on. It contains lines, including multiple intelligences, from cognitive intelligence to emotional intelligence to moral intelligence, among others. It contains states, from gross to subtle to causal to non-dual, and it contains various types. Some of this interior space is unconscious, involving subpersonalities, shadow elements, embedded cultural beliefs and values in the form of deep structures, and so on. And what's one reason that interior subject eye space is so important? Because probably half of all modern and postmodern disciplines and sciences deny its existence altogether. They are denying you. Instead, they put their faith in the exterior objective view of the organism, the upper right quadrant, the exterior of the individual. If you take this view of the human organism, you don't see thoughts and feelings and spiritual states and levels of consciousness. You see 2 kidneys, 2 lungs, 1 heart, 1 triune brain with reptilian brainstem, paleo-mammalian limbic system, primate neocortex, and their transmitters, dopamine, serotonin, acetylcholine, and so on. In the upper left, the eye space, you find a subtle state of consciousness with blazing universal love. All you'll find in the upper right is a material brain operating with a theta brainwave state. In the upper left, you find supermind, aware of its identity with infinite spirit and the entire manifest universe, and a burst of bliss when recognizing this. All you'll find in the upper right is a synchronization of the material brain hemispheres. A spot known as the G-spot for God spot is activated, and a burst of dopamine occurs. These realities are not an I, but an it of one variety or another. A third-person objective exterior view of the individual holon, an it. Which view is real? If you look at professional consciousness studies, you'll find slightly more than half of the researchers believe that consciousness is nothing but a material brain state, soon to be fully explainable in entirely neurophysiological terms. We say soon to be because nobody has yet succeeded in doing so, despite many decades of effort. The other major group of researchers believe that consciousness is fundamental, and that even the brain exists only as a conscious experience. We refer to these views as quadrant absolutism, the belief that one and only one quadrant is ultimately real. On the other hand, if you see that all 4 quadrants are an interconnected intrinsic feature of the cosmos, you'll realize the upper left and upper right, the I and the it, are both real and both equally important. They arise together, evolve together, and mutually co-enact each other. Once we realize that all 4 quadrants are equally real and equally important, we take a giant leap in realigning and integrating our worldview. Very few worldviews include all 4 quadrants. Most are involved in one form of quadrant absolutism or another, guaranteeing us a broken, fragmented world. As we will continue to see, each of the quadrants has different perspectives or views, discloses different phenomena, has different types of truths, and therefore reveal different potentials for our own being. Once we combine the quadrants with the other dimensions covered in this program, levels, lines, states, and types, all of which have correlates in all 4 quadrants, we start to see a truly unified big picture of ourselves and our world. And applying this leap in realigning our worldview can indeed be life-changing.